I want to show you the story from Rolling Stone. Ian, I got bad news for you.
Oh,
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young reunite in removing their music from Spotify.
No!
We support Neil and we agree with him that there is dangerous disinformation being aired on Spotify's Joe Rogan podcast.
Dude, you guys support Neil,
stop. What information? What did Joe say? What disinformation? You don't even watch the show. None of these people do. To go off what you were just saying, Ian, we need to stop pretending that these people are being serious. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea why they're even mad. All they know is someone on the TV said, Joe Rogan bad, and they went, I'm down for some free press.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tim, I think that their target audience is most at risk for COVID.
Yeah,
dude, it's so good seeing those guys together.
That's true.
Again,
that's true. And you know what? This is the demographic that watches CNN.
Exactly.
So they see all the lies. People. They walk right into it. Look, man.
Well, I'm gonna listen to it on Amazon.
I gotta say,
ding dong.
Joe came out. He did not apologize for his guests. He said they were credentialed. He said, I'm gonna have these conversations. But he said this is really funny. He was like, I'll try to balance it out and make sure we have a more establishment voice or something like that effect. The following show. So if they do Robert Malone, they'll have someone else on. And it's just like, Joe, you're saying that the one time out of 100 guests, you have one critical opinion, you're going to add in another one of the 99% mainstream majority opinions everyone's already heard. Like, Joe pointed out he had Sanjay Gupta and Mike Osterholm on his show, and then he had Peter McCullough and Dr. Malone. It's like, so you split it up pretty well. But they're not satisfied with that. So when he, makes some concessions and Spotify says, okay, they wanted a misinformation policy, we'll do it. It doesn't matter. Spotify came out and said, okay, we'll do your misinformation policy. And now Crosby, Stills, and Nash join in and getting their music pulled.
Get rid of it.
They're not going to stop because they don't know what they're talking about. They are not talking to you, Spotify. These activists are not saying, Spotify, we have a demand. They're saying, hey guys, I'm yelling at Spotify right now. That's what they're doing. They're not communicating with any of these people. They don't know why they're mad. They don't know why it matters. All they know is they're virtue signaling to activists they want to spend money on their music and give them press because they're has-beens. And then what ends up happening is you get 30 people on Twitter who never buy your product. And then the company goes, 30 people on Twitter are complaining about our product. Better pull it. They were never going to buy your product in the first place. So it's just frustrating when people keep giving in to obvious BS and they don't stop. When will people learn? When will anyone learn that when they come out and say, we demand you do this, if you go, okay, I'll do it. Now we demand you do this, then this. Next, we want these things. We have this list of demands. It's never going to end until you say, shut your mouth, you're deleted. If as soon as they said, pull my music, Spotify went, you got it, bye, delete. And then Crosby, Stills, and Nash comes out and says, we're going to reunite. Say, have a nice day. You're old anyway. Bye. Just tell them to shove off. Look, I get it. Spotify is going to lose money. They lost their shares went down because of the controversy. Many of these lefty, people will pull off the platform. They knew that was going to happen when they signed Joe Rogan in the first place. So make no concessions.
Well, yeah. Also, I mean, I have a hard time believing that before signing any kind of contract with Spotify, Joe Rogan didn't consider this possibility and ensure that he would not be removed from his platform because some know-nothing celebrity said he should be.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if there's anything. I really mean it. I would be very surprised if there was anything that Spotify could do.
Well, to me, this just looks like a bunch of old or out of touch artists who are like, oh, here's my chance to get 2 minutes of fame. Because somebody said India Ari took her music off Spotify and Mary Trump. I have no idea. Mary Trump took her podcast off Spotify. Big. Who knew she had a podcast?
Breaking news,
right.
Mary
You know what
Trump
this
has
does
a
mean,
podcast.
What? For young people who want to, try to get a Spotify account, upload some of their music, there's more opportunity.
That's right.
There's
there you go.
You're competing for less audience.
Self-regulating.
Or for more audience, I should say.
What's
There aren't as
funny
many
about Crosby, Stills, and Nash is, again, exposing the hypocrisy of the left. These were the counterculture, right, back in the 60s, the baby boomers, the anti-war, freedom, etc. And now they're just aged, grumpy old men who are trying to, cut down the young upstart It just, once again, the left is just full of hypocrisy. These are the guys who, 50 years ago were leading, music's attempts to, in the 60s, they were powerful in terms of their messaging. And now here they are trying to, I mean, who would have seen this coming? But it just exposes what the left is.
Didn't Neil Young have a free speech tour?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
I watched him talking about COVID a couple of days ago, and he was like, "We can beat this thing." His voice is way higher than you think when you listen to him talk. we can beat it. I know we can. We can do it. And it's like, what is he talking about? Beat this thing. You don't talk about like the common the rhinovirus. Like we're gonna beat this thing.
Well,
it just is there.
Saying. They don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, they couldn't even put two sentences together and make sense of anything. But they got their headlines and. That's all they care about.
You just got to stop letting, for whatever reason, people seem to think that the kid throwing a temper tantrum on the playground, demanding that you give him the basketball, is going to stop having temper tantrums when you give him what he wants. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, when the baby starts crying and screaming, like the toddler comes in screaming, "I want ice cream." You got to be like, "You can't have ice cream for breakfast." And they'll scream and they'll cry, and then you just be like, "That's not doing anything for you."
What if they're still screaming 8 hours later?
You're a purveyor of misinformation. Like, nope, sorry, no ice cream for you,
I used to enjoy.
You're 4 years old. When did you learn?
My parents. I was lucky that my parents would punish kids like that, and they just isolate them and make them suffer and cry through the whole thing until they're done crying. But like, what if the kid keeps crying and keeps crying and keeps crying? They used to beat the kid.
They can't.
Yeah.
They eventually run out of cries.
They need ice cream as fuel to keep crying. They'll run out.
You know what happens when a kid is crying? I'll tell you this. When a toddler is crying, a young kid, saying, "I want something," and you say, "Well, you can't have it," and they keep crying, and you walk away. You know what they do as soon as you walk away?
Stop.
They stop crying and look around to figure out where you went, why you aren't giving them attention. Because crying doesn't work. They figure out crying doesn't work, and they'll stop and they'll try something else. So you can't. When the baby starts screaming and crying, you cannot give the baby what they want. You have to be a responsible adult and say, no, Crosby, stop it.
Which is exactly.
I understand why you're sad.
Which is literally exactly, going back to our earlier story, why the truckers need to stay the course and why we cannot buy their BS about these people being Nazis or white supremacists or whatever, because that is their temper tantrum.
Exactly. Ignore these whiny babies.
Yes.
They're like, "I haven't slept in 5 days." And it's like, well, I can't cross the border anymore, so deal with it.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. So if you are one of these truckers protesting, you're actually giving them a good thing in the same way that a parent who ignores their child's temper tantrum is giving them a good thing, because these left-wingers who are slandering you and making ridiculous accusations about you, as soon as they start to realize that those really aren't going to work, some of them, some small minority, maybe even many of them, are going to actually try to pursue real strategy for affecting the change they want to see in the world. And I think it's going to make them more responsible adults, and it will actually reorient their goals away from leftism. So you're helping them.
I just want to say, I don't want to be
become better
overly,
people.
I don't want to seem overly pessimistic on this just because I'm frustrated with these weirdos. Let me see if I can pull up Joe Rogan real quick on Instagram, because I want to show you guys something that's a total white pill. Is it just Joe Rogan on Instagram? Is it going to work?
Yeah.
Let's see if it works. All right. So where's that post he made? All right. We got this post from him. So one of the most important things about Joe Rogan's statement on Spotify is that aside from people like, Tulsi Gabbard and Tim Dillon, who are very obviously fans and friends of his, if you scroll down through Joe Rogan's post, all of these people... Tons of people, tons of verified Instagram users are all like, "Joe, we love you. You're the best. We're on your side." I was reading an article, and it was like, here's a list of celebrities who came out in defense of Joe Rogan on his Instagram post saying awesome things about him. And it's like Crosby, Stills, and Nash joining Neil Young. Yo, you guys are on the wrong side of history, as the left likes to say. Joe Rogan's got mainstream. Look at Jewel. You guys know Jewel? What
she had a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
She was on a
Keep
show, and it was so good.
Yeah, she's good.
I only saw like a couple hours.
It's not like she's the biggest celebrity in the world right now. But you've got, look at all
right
of
now,
these,
you have high hopes.
Look at all of these verified users. Some obviously we know.
Hey, Christina Pazitsky.
Who's that?
Christina P. That's Tom Segura's wife.
Well, there you go.
She's awesome.
There's a whole bunch of mainstream celebrities,
UFC
Jamie
fighters,
Kennedy, UFC fighters, who are like, Joe's awesome. Joe is winning this one. even when he comes in and can see, cede some ground there. I'm not a big fan of it, but the point is, as much as it's annoying to see, look, you got Kelly Slater, pro surfer. They're not on the side of these crackpots. We are winning. Free speech is winning.
Right.
The right to free inquiry, freedom of association, it's all winning. And as Michael Malice said, when CNN took on Joe Rogan, their president and the host of the biggest show got ousted. So boom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Victory.
How wonderful.
Feels great.
Can't wrestle with that guy.
I think, I saw a post, I saw a news story, and it was talking about all of the celebrities cheering on Joe Rogan. And I'm like, that's the message people need to hear. Mm-hmm. That with all this stuff going down and all of these media outlets being like, oh, Joe did this and Joe did that, and these celebrities are angry, you got to see the bigger picture. What are high profile and regular people actually saying? They don't believe in the cancel culture. They don't care for it. They're fans. They love his show. He's got 7.6 million views on his post. He's winning.
Yeah, as far as I can tell. Mm-hmm.
Kevin James comes out. Yeah, Kevin James.
And how many new subscribers? How many people have never heard of him before?
Before this kerfuffle?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I mean, usually this stuff always backfires too, which the left never figures out. So it's like, pick your fighter. This guy who, you had people like, Grandma, wait, who's this Joe Rogan? All right, I'm going to just sign up, subscribe to him.
Yeah.
Oh, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Wait, what have they done for the past 50 years? Right. Nothing. So it always backfires. So he's picking up new attention. He's picking up support. He's picking up new viewers. And it's just completely backfiring on them once again.
And you know what? Oh, no, you go, Drew.
I was just going to say, I can't help feeling that Joe Rogan is right now the voice of populism, which is highly encouraging, because to see all these celebrities being on board with him, and then also to see all the normal people who completely agree with him, very encouraging. I think that we are winning on this.
I just want to pull up this one more post to make sure everybody knows.
Oh yeah.
From the Associated Press.
Amazing.
No evidence video color was manipulated in CNN news segment, September 10th. And then this post showing CNN's version of the video with Joe Rogan makes him look like he's dying.
He looks like a Smurf.
He does, yeah.
We didn't edit that. No, that's how it looked when we got it.
Yeah. Experts say this was not doctored.
Right. They're trying to argue that it was like, oh, but people looked on different devices, and that's why it looked that way.
No.
I did the experiment myself. I took Joe Rogan's video on the same monitor, same computer, screen, and I played the video. I screen grabbed it, and then I took the CNN clip and I screen grabbed it. You can clearly tell they're different, by the way. I put them into a graphic Illustrator program, vectorized the images, and then analyzed the color palettes to break it down.
Whoa!
And you can see it is manipulated.
Clearly.
Dude, he literally, in the top photo, he looks like one of those guys in the artsy hipster part of the city that dresses as a statue and like stands around for money. That is not how a normal human looks without editing.
He looks like OJ, like trying to do his own video, but like he's got the camera in the wrong spot.
Oh my gosh.
But this is just the point. When all of these mainstream personalities, high-profile celebrities, and regular people are like, you rock, the narrative doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. When the AP is like, there's no evidence, and then you look at it, you're like, yo, I have eyes. I can see it.
I know. Who are you going to believe? Us or your eyes?
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to mention, piggybacking off of what you said a moment, or to respond to what you said a moment ago, about the fact that they don't seem to understand that they harm themselves and their message by going after these people because they end up promoting them. I think the reality is an infant throwing a temper tantrum or a toddler throwing a temper tantrum isn't all that concerned with the optics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if they got to the point where they could be concerned with the optics, they wouldn't be throwing the tantrums anymore.
But if the tantrum's working, then why do you care? Like, it works, it works.
Exactly. And they've been spoiled for way too long, and people are starting to go, okay, no. Like, I have to go to work. Yeah. I have to do my job.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to this.
Think about what we're watching, right? CNN has a temper tantrum. Joe Rogan responds very calmly and positively and says, I'm a fan of Neil Young. It's great music. Sorry if I made you mad, guys. We'll do better. Very adult, very mature. The temper tantrum doesn't work. Imagine you're watching, you go to an ice cream shop and you see one kid screaming and banging on the counter, give me ice cream, and then the other kid is like, Mother, if I get an extra scoop of ice cream, I promise to do my chores when we go home. You're going to be like, oh, that kid's very well behaved, and that kid's a little dish head, you know what I mean? That's what we're seeing from the outside. You're watching CNN have this tantrum, and you're just like, they've lost their credibility.
But the reason why kids have perpetual the kids who have the tantrums all the time have the bad parents who respond to it, right? So that's the lesson. So as a mother, then you walk away. You don't even engage the kid. The kids who have the perpetual temper tantrums are the ones with the mom who keeps appeasing them. So this is what's happening there. You're talking about a bunch of toddlers and bad mothers.
If you've got kids and they're complaining that they want something, you got to make sure you get the paperwork drawn up, that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and you make them sign that contract, and you litigate everything. You say, hey, don't cry. We do the paperwork. You want 1 scoop of ice cream? Well, I want the dishes done, so sign here. All right, initial there. All right, we have a contract. Here's your ice cream, and we'll get the dishes done. Well, it's also teach them a good lesson about how corporate world works.
Yeah, it really. The longer the image is up, the more astounding. like what kind of middle school shenanigans is that?
Seriously.
Like, I don't like him, so I'm gonna make him look like Drax.
Yeah,
It's the most obnoxious. Let's make him look ugly in the picture.
Yeah, he looks ugly now.
Dude, I remember when when I first heard the story about how they changed the color. I didn't see it from Joe. I didn't see it from anybody. I was watching the CNN video claiming it says he took horse dewormer right there from CNN. They're lying. And I watched the video and I was like, yo, Joe looks bad. Yeah. And then I looked.
I don't want that horse dewormer stuff.
Right?
Right.
Yo, it's so insanely obvious what they're doing. I feel like, we're all popping out of the Matrix and they're like, stop, no, don't.
Exactly.
People just started waking up to the insanity of the alive. I feel bad for regular people who are still trapped in there.
Yeah.
And they think they're right because you can trust CNN.
But how do they respond? So let's say it's the case, because trying to look at this from the lens of someone who still trusts CNN, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit here with respect to critical thinking abilities, right?
Yes.
But if CNN put this on air and they really didn't edit it, he just happens to look like he's from a different species in it, but they didn't notice that and still went to air with it, that's almost just as bad, because at the end of the day, you're getting false information as a viewer. So I'm really curious how the people who are diehard fans of this network or who are loyal to it would respond to something like this, or could respond to something like this.
CNN told me that they are the most trusted name in news.
Yeah, they told me that too.
And and to be honest, it might be true, and it's a low bar.
It is very low.
And they told me about that apple. Remember that? This is an apple.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
No.
Remember
right
when
after Trump was elected, right?
Yeah, they were like, this is an apple. It's just an apple or whatever. And it's like, we're not fake news. Like, we showed you an apple or something.
It's told you it was an apple?
Oh, they're building cred.
I do remember when Don Lemon was like, now, it may be preposterous, but was the plane swallowed by a black hole?
I know.
And then the lady on CNN goes, well, Rhea, even a small black hole would swallow the whole universe. What? I'm not kidding. That actually happened.
Yes, I remember
and I'm like, yo, first of all, there's no way a black hole swallowed the airplane. Second of all, a small black hole would not swallow the universe.
The entire universe, or else we wouldn't have a universe like that.
Right,
or we wouldn't have black holes. Just one or the other. This isn't that complicated. Do you think the jet got swallowed up?
Wait, let me just, I kind of feel bad right now because
don't.
We get more views than CNN does.
We're punching down.
So we're
Tim.
punching
you're
down.
right.
We're bullying CNN.
We need to help them.
No, how?
We
should
should pull up the ladder.
It's
behind us.
constructive.
We should bring CNN on the show to help them get the word out about their channel, and maybe they'll get more subscribers.
Oh my gosh, bring John CNN on.
Yeah,
the man himself.
Zucker has no ties now. Maybe he'll come on and speak all for us.
He'll be like, I did the Photoshop. It was Microsoft Paint.
Hey, wait! He wants revenge on Chris Cuomo now for costing him his job.
Yeah.
Chris did that Photoshop. He's been messing with Premiere a lot lately.
What if he came in with like a big stack of documents and was like, here's everything CNN's done.
Yeah.
And it's
like this is all like furry fanfics.
Wrong stack.
It's like, oh, everyone.
That's why I went wrong.
On every story they've ever run, they have the truth. As like when you write the news, you write it, and then they write the fake version and archive the real story, and then publish the fake one. And they're like, well, so remember that one story about Trump? Here's the actual story. We actually do
for reference.
Right. Yeah, for reference.
Oh my God.
Well, it's because they want to know the
You
history.
the
You know what I mean?
Exact opposite.
So I thought about how crazy it is with all the fake news. Think about how it's going to impact history.
Oh, I know.
And people are going to believe the lies forever. It's going to be 100 years. And they're going to be like, Donald Trump was colluding with the Russians.
That's right.
I know.
And that was CNN.
Dude,
remember, CNN was the first network on January 10th, what year was it? Not 19. 2017, January 10th, 2017, they ran I think they won an award for it. I think they won a Pulitzer Prize about the dossier and the briefing that Jim Clapper did with Trump and with Jim Comey to tell them about the Russian P tape. Right, so this is
right.
So this really launched the P tape, the dossier. BuzzFeed also published it that day, but CNN was responsible for really launching RussiaGate and legitimizing it, saying that Clapper and Comey had met with Trump and alerted them that they had compromat on Donald Trump, and so that's where it started.
Also,
and so this is good karma.
Yeah. Also, middle school behavior. Like, I'm gonna say some peed on him. Like, it's just
Super
complete
middle
nonsense.
school, yeah.
Like, complete disgusting nonsense. Totally depraved.
How insane was that?
That was absurd.
Hold on. Do you remember the story from the Huffington Post where it was like, a tape exists of Trump somewhere doing something
in an elevator?
No, where he was, we don't know, and what he did is we're unsure of.
But he did it.
But journalists know it happened, and they're trying to find out what. It's like,
But again, millions of Americans still believe that happened.
Yeah.
They still believe that there's a tape with Donald Trump at the Moscow Ritz with prostitutes urinating in front of him. They're like, yeah, that tape's there.
Well, hold on. I gotta be honest. I honestly do believe that Trump will have done something like that in his life, but whether there's an actual tape of it in the circumstances they've proposed, well, that's outrageous.
Right.
Well,
the reason it works is because Donald Trump is a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
yeah, no.
And that's why people believe. That's why
He's got a
they
golden
believe
toilet,
that.
right?
Does he? I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't he have a golden toilet?
Yeah, in Trump
That's what I
Tower.
heard.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
I heard
CNN
that.
says.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I want to
good
say
for your
one thing.
skin.
You mentioned history, and it's true that there are probably a lot of things in our history books that were just part of media propaganda, and we believe them today. However, I will say this. The New York Times tried as hard as they could to cover up the Holodomor, and that still came out. The New York Times also very much underreported on the Holocaust. That still came out. So I think it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen, but I really genuinely believe that when we need it, the truth does come out.
but Seamus, think about what you just said, then think about the New York Times lying to get us into the Middle East. They're still around.
No,
The
I
New
know.
York Times
They
has
are no,
done
it's
all
true.
of those things.
It's true.
And people are still like, I'm going to read the New York Times.
But that's
It's like,
also
yo, maybe you shouldn't.
I agree with you, but I think a big part of that was because prior to the internet, your average person who was aware of these lies because they found them through research couldn't point them out.
Yeah. And it was hard to find, it was hard to research because they were the arbiters of morality and truth.
Exactly.
But now we are in a different age and information has been decentralized. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.